Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Oh, I like that. I almost feel like I'm back in classroom. Please silence cell phones before we begin. I'd like to thank Nancy Peak for last week's memorial display, and the beautiful hydrangea display this morning was brought by Mary Ann Kenny. Thank you. Last week we had a presentation by Doug Krause, providing us with the art of piano refurbishment. It certainly was intricately presented, quite a process requiring not only skill but patience. Thank you, Susie, for bringing him to us. Our positions for the next board are being filled. We do have a few slots that we're still looking for people. So if you feel like you can do something, please let us know. Thank you to all who have stepped forward for your willingness to accept a new challenge. Which brings me to a quote about women. This was a quote from an Indian actress, Bindu Desai, who said, "Women who understand how powerful they are do not give in to envy over meaningless things. Instead, they fight to maintain the beautiful bond of sisterhood. These are the real women who know that what we need is each other's love and support to survive in the world. Love is the essence of being a woman. We must be that light of love that seals the bond and unique beauty of our sisterhood." I thought that was appropriate for this organization, which has withstood 133 years. And our strength is in the bonds that we forge in friendship and teamwork. At this time, Dutch is going to read the minutes from last week.
Good morning, everybody. As you know, next Wednesday will be Ash Wednesday, which reminds me of something. There was a priest by the name of Father Paul, and he had been at his parish for many, many years, and every day at noon he would have to go up to the bell tower to ring the bell. So as he was aging, he realized that he needed to find a younger person to go up to the bell tower. So he put out an ad, and in a couple days, a young gentleman came up and asked the priest if he could apply for the job. And Father Paul said, "Well," he said, "son, I would really love to give you the position." He said, "But I noticed that you have a certain condition." And the condition was that the poor man had no arms. So, but the young man said, "But Father Paul, let me show you what I can do." So he went up to the bell tower, and he told the priest that he could ring the bell with his face. So he went up to the bell tower, he hit the bell with his face, and it rang beautifully. But unfortunately, he tripped and fell out of the bell tower and ended up on the ground. So obviously, the police came to check out the situation. And the police officer said, "Father Paul, do you know who this was?" And the father said, "I didn't know his name, but his face rings a bell." So here are the minutes from last week, from February 4th. President Joan Lamry called the meeting to order at 10:30 a.m. at the Beaches Manor. She informed the membership that it takes numerous members to make the club successful, and that we are in dire need of program chairs for the 26-28 seasons. She then thanked the following members: Cindy Del Piano for arranging last week's cybersecurity presentation by Michelle Tuttle, Nancy Peak for today's lovely memorial display, and Patty Bates for the stunning orchid display at the January 28th, 2026 meeting. Secretary Glenda Alvarez read the minutes from the January 28th, 26 meeting. With no additions or corrections, a motion to accept was made by Phyllis Sanzone and seconded by Jenny Carlisle. Motion passed. Treasurer Linda Berry reported the following for the period January 7th through February 4th. We had a balance on hand of $8,801.66, total receipts of $235, which brought the total funds to $9,036.66. Total disbursements of $830.78, which left a balance on hand on February 4th of $8,205.88. Motion to accept was made by Marion Bartel and seconded by Nancy Peak. The motion passed. Sheila Waters, membership chair, in sponsor of Sheila Murphy's absence, introduced new member Michelle Riley-Skibitsky and then presented her with a yearbook and WMC pin. Suzanne Aber, music chair, introduced today's speaker Doug Krause, lead piano technician and owner of Center Stage Pianos, who has been tuning and restoring pianos for over 33 years. His extensive knowledge and expertise in this field not only included historical information on pianos, but also the three basic components of restoration, which are the case, the action, and the bench. After taking the first step, which is skeletonizing or taking apart the piano, he explains what he does with the various parts needing repair. Overall, he emphasized that the beauty of restoration is to evaluate what the piano was and what he wants it to be. After answering several questions from the audience, President Lomry thanked Doug for not only his informative presentation, but also for giving life to old pianos. President Lomry announced that next week's presentation program will be literature. A motion to adjourn at 11:40 a.m. was made by Josephine Lee and seconded by Lorna Diley. Motion passed. Respectfully submitted, Glenda Alvarez, Secretary.
Thank you, Dutch. We always appreciate your humor.
I wish my husband would.
Can we now have a motion to accept the minutes as read? Dutch? Melanie Spinelli, second? Cindy Del Piano, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. At this time, Deb Brzezinski is going to update us on a closing luncheon which takes place March 18th. Deb?
Don't touch the computer. She knows me well. Okay, without touching the computer. March 18th, Wednesday. We thought we'd try a little something new and combine a brunch and a lunch. So we had a brunchin'. We're not just old. We can do thinking also. And I think it's on the screen. Yes? Okay. So you can see the first part is the brunch part of it. The mini quiches, the bacon and sausage, long fries, the French toast, fresh fruit. I hope that they have syrup with the French toast. Yes, we want syrup. And then this is the lunch part. So whichever mood you're in, think about this and we even fill your moods. You had a salad, had some broccoli, chicken française, and apple crisp and ice cream for dessert. And I told them, last year for the luncheon, everybody just went, oh, yes. Told me not to touch the computer, but and so everybody so loves that apple crisp. How can you not? So we just told her not to. So also, if you see this, I don't know if there are any mimosa lovers in here, but they're going to be there. The ingredients, which I have no, I know one is orange juice, right? Or is it tomato? Orange juice. Champagne. Who said champagne? Lynn. Thank you. That's what I thought. So I don't drink, and you think I do, don't you?
If you did, oh my God.
Susie. And who is that? Oh,
Haley's Comets.
a violinist, which is wonderful. Marvelous. So, oh, and you got it? Yeah. So, sign up, and we will collect until the 11th. Am I correct, Melanie? That's not what it says. No, here's what it says.
It says there.
I should read it. And just sign up. We tried to keep it, the price low as we could. Okay? You know, it's only $2 more than last year's. Maybe next year we'll go there. Oh no, but we're not doing it. But be there. It's fun. Yeah, that's it. I have, what are those endorphins? Yeah. Thanks, John.
We have more than enough endorphins for all of us.
I'm willing to share.
Our guest speaker is soon going to be introduced. Michael J. Fox wrote, and I quote, "One's dignity may be assaulted, vandalized, and cruelly mocked, but it can never be taken away unless it is surrendered." At this time, I am going to surrender the floor to Kathy Kina.
I'm going to touch this all. Okay. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. So far this year, we've had authors presenting their mysteries, historical fiction, and memoirs. But this morning, we have Emily Spatto, a two-time author from Remsen, New York, who is a junior at Remsen High School. She's a young entrepreneur who owns and operates the Tasty Crown Bakery, a sweet fusion of her love for baking and pageantry. Beyond her business, she has a passion for fashion design, theater, modeling, and being involved in her community. Her first book, Milo and Luna, Standing Out and Fitting In, is a children's book that was written hoping to spread more awareness towards the deaf community in particular. Emily's mother, who's here today, Amber, is an instructor at the New York State School for the Deaf, and Emily's passion for the deaf community and learning sign language was ignited by Amber's work with the students there. Emily reigned as Princess of America Miss Teen New York. I was worried about getting the year, but you see there's so many of them over there, it doesn't matter. She began doing pageants when she was 13, and she has participated in Mohawk Valley Community College's Young Entrepreneurs Academy, where she is enhancing her business model, working with mentors, and formulating future goals for her business. Her latest book, In the Beginning She Had Everyone, is her poetry, paying tribute to those people, moments, and experiences that have shaped her life. Please welcome Emily Spatto.
Figure it out. So, I'm Emily. I'm a junior at Remsen Central School, and I do a lot of different things throughout my life. I honestly kind of tell people that my life didn't start until 3 years ago. That's when most of my things happened in my life. Before I got into all of the, crazy things that I do now, pageants and baking and writing books, I was into something called roller derby. So when I was, this is not working. When I was 7 years old, I started.
You're going to go to the computer. That's what we're doing.
So, after, send it to her. I know what it wants.
I can get it. Where do you send it to? I sent it to Bear with us once. Okay. Oh, there you go. Hang on, we just sent it. Okay. Okay. There we go. Here we go. Let's try this again. Round two. This happens a lot, it's okay. Okay, hi, I'm Emily. I'm a junior at Remsen Central School, and I also have a bunch of different titles. I am the owner of the Tasty Crown Bakery that I opened in 2023. I am the Princess of America Miss New York Teen 23-24. I am the author of my first children's book, Milo and Luna, that came out in 2024. I am the Cadis Promise New York Ambassador for 2025 and throughout the rest of my whole entire life. I am the International United Miss New York Junior Teen 2024-2025. I am the author of In the Beginning, She Had Everyone, that I released in 2025. And recently, for this year, I am your American United Miss New York Teen 2026. One of my favorite quotes is realize that everything connects to everything else, because a lot of things that I've accomplished in my life, I have to do one thing always leads to the next. If I didn't do pageants, I wouldn't have wrote a book. If I didn't write the first book, I wouldn't have wrote the second book. And everything that I've done has given me opportunities to do more. Before I started my pageant journey and everything else, I was a little 7-year-old playing roller derby. And I don't know if a lot of you know what roller derby is, or if you're imagining the concrete rink where you just go around in circles with the bars on the side. And that is exactly what I did for 7 years of my life. I skated around in circles and I got points. I was very, very little, so I was the jammer. They sent me in the middle of everybody to score all of the points. And I wish I had a count of how many points I got in my career, but out of 7 years, there was a lot. So this is my team. We had a lot of fun together over 7 years. I grew a lot. I was very, very small when I first came into roller derby, and they were all kind of like looking at me when I first showed up, and they were like, "You're this tall." And I was like, "Don't worry, I can skate really well." And the thing about roller derby is that it's ages 5 to 18, girls and guys together. So I was up against sometimes 18-year-old guys who looked like they played football, and I was very, very scared for my life that day because I was not sure how I was going to do it. But I did, and my roller derby career came to an end in 2023 when I had a very bad fall and I fractured my spine, my L5-S1 in my lower back. And if that didn't happen, I probably would not have started my pageant journey, and I wanted to continue roller derby for the rest of my life and go into the adult league, but I guess there was other plans for me. So this was me in March of 2023 at my last match when I fell and I fractured my back. And that was me in June of 2023 when I won my first pageant title. So my first pageant title was the Dodgeville Violet Festival in 2023. I was heading to school with my dad, and on the radio I heard the Dodgeville Violet Festival pageant, and I was intrigued for some reason. I'm not sure why, because I never remembered hearing anything about pageantry before that. But something about me got on the computer, I registered, I signed up,
And a little thing about me is that I always dress up. So the exact outfit I'm wearing in this photo is what I wore to my 6th grade graduation because I wanted to wear a prom dress to my 6th grade graduation, and I did. So, and those shoes. So this is kind of just a little flashback for me. I mean, it was only 3 years ago, well, less than 3 years ago, but it seems like forever ago because it seems like such a short amount of time to have done so much, and I kind of forget that this was only 3 years ago. So after I did the Dodgeville Violet Festival, I got to have this fun little parade, and I was absolutely hooked on pageants because I was like, great, I get to sit on the float and I get to wave to people. This is amazing. And I went home and I signed up for my next pageant that same night, and it was the Herkimer County Fair pageant in 2023. And I did not win. I got first runner-up, and I don't really know how to describe it because I wasn't sure what to expect. I had just came from winning the Dodgeville Violet Festival, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna win this, and I did not know what I was up against. And I just was like expecting to go and win. So I'm actually very happy that I didn't win, and that's surprising because I realized that I'm not going to win all of them, and that is okay. And I went home that night, and I signed up for my next pageant that same night once again. And that was my first ever state title for Princess of America. And as you can see in the second photo, I was very scared. And I was very excited to be there. This was, I think, the best pageant I have ever done in my whole life, and I cannot wait to go back. I won that night and was the Princess of America Miss New York Teen 2023-2024, and they informed us that since I won, I get to go spend a week in Branson, Missouri. They did not tell us this before I won and when I signed up. So my parents looked at me and they were like, excuse me? We have to go to Missouri for a week. And I'm like, yeah, we do. And they're like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but you're going to make it happen. So I ended up figuring out how we were going to get to Branson, Missouri. This was me at my state pageant in my prom dress that I got from somebody, and I absolutely love that dress, and it's still in my closet, and I will just look at it forever, and I will never get rid of it, because it is my baby, and I love it so much. The first photo is me doing my talent at States, which is American Sign Language, that I will tell you about later on. But I wanted to do a talent. It's not mandatory, it's optional, but for this specific pageant system, they awarded 2 titles. If you had the best score in your talent, and it was dancing, singing, most are dancers and singers, but if you had the best talent, then you won your own title, which is the Princess of America Superstar, or my just generic regular Miss Teen. So this was me and my girls when we won. I was super, super excited, and I grew to get very close with these girls, and I love them to pieces, and we still talk every single day, and they've come and watched all my other pageants, and pageant people are very nice, contrary to a lot of people saying that pageant girls are mean. It's hard because everybody thinks that you are mean because you want to win and you're like against each other, but pageantry has brought me so many friends from all over the world. This is my coach, Michaela, who was my judge at States, and she came up to me right after. My parents remember. I had no idea what I was doing at this pageant, and I realized that I needed some help because I'm about to go on a national stage with like 300 girls. And she came up to me and she's like, I see something in you. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to get you there. So we drove back and forth to Syracuse. Thank you to my dad, who drove me back and forth to Syracuse many, many times to meet with Michaela. And without her, I don't think I would have done as well as I did because I had no idea what was going on. So a few things I did during my reign. I went to over 40 events and appearances. I went to a character club, and I got to talk to them about character traits that I believe are important in a leader and things that I've done and how to persevere through hard times. The second photo is me and my 2 sister queens who were walking in a parade, and this was a very fun day, but also very, very cold in the middle of March in Rochester, and it was a very fun day, so I had to just throw that in there. This is me and my best friend, Brianna. Brianna is my Miss New York, and I'm the Miss New York Teen. She is 24 and one of my best friends in the whole world. She calls me every day,
and we always try to figure out when we can meet up, and it very rarely happens. But once in a while, I'll be driving by her house, and she'll stalk my location, and she'll be like, "Are you not coming to see me?" And I'm like, "I wasn't planning on it, but I am now." So this is Bree. We love Bree. She's one of my biggest cheerleaders. This is me when I went back to the Dodgeville Violet Festival in 2024 to help out with the pageant. A lot of the girls, it was downpouring outside and they didn't cancel it, so we were all holding umbrellas over each other's dresses, trying not to be just like drenched. And right after crowning that night, it was a torrential downpour. The rain was like coming sideways, and we were just like, our makeup was running down our face. And me and Brie luckily had ponchos, so we got to walk in the parade and we had a lot of fun. And I tend to make that a tradition that I go back every year because that's where I first started, so that's what I like to do. And same with the Herkimer County Fair. Even though I didn't win at the Herkimer County Fair, I still go back every year to support the girls, and it kind of just takes me back. This was me at Princess of America in 2024, my first national competition. Now, national competition compared to a state or a local, the Dodgeville Violet Festival was just like Dodgeville, Oneida County, little tiny, like 6 girls maybe. States, there was 7 of us just for New York State. Whoever wanted to compete in New York State could. Nationals was a whole nother level because for POA, nationals consisted of all 50 states. So I was against girls from almost all 50 states. And it was a good experience. The girl that I'm with in the first photo is my best friend Raylan, who was Miss Arkansas. And she ended up winning. I was against her. I got 3rd in that national competition, and she won, and she was absolutely incredible. And the girl that I'm with on the other side is from Nevada, and she was the current current Princess of America ambassador for community service. This was me on the stage at POA, one of the best stages I've ever been on. The first photo was me in my fun fashion for my purple outfit of the day, and I love that photo because I feel like I look like a tulip or like a flower. And the second one is me doing my American Sign Language, which I placed 3rd for the national title of Princess of America Superstar. So at that competition, I placed 3rd runner-up to 2 national titles, and I was very surprised because it's my first national competition. I was coming from New York, and most of the girls are from the South, and I was very scared because they all told me I had an accent. And I said, "Are you sure?" And I've heard it so many times from a lot of coaches and parents and friends. They're like, "You have an accent." And I'm like, "I've never heard it before, but I think you have an accent from Oklahoma, but I might have an accent because I'm from New York." So I don't know. The first photo is me and my parents because they drive me everywhere and because I love them so much. They kind of just go with the things that I say. I give them a shirt that says Pageant Dad and Pageant Mom, and they just put it on, and I'm like, "Here you go, you're gonna wear this." And they're like, "Okay, sounds great to me." So they're very, very helpful. They're my favorite people. I love them. I don't really know what else to say. They drive me everywhere. They bring me everywhere. I wouldn't be able to do anything that I do without them, even today, because they drove me here in this horrible weather outside, and my mom took time off work to be here, so I appreciate you guys, and I love you. The second photo is me and my best friend Briley. She's from Kansas, and she's a little spitfire. We love her. And this is me with my 2 awards from my 2 almost national titles. I got 3rd runner-up to both. And the first photo was me in my top 4 moment, scared for my life, because I was like, if I win this title, sorry, Mom and Dad, you're going to have to take a lot more time off of work. And I was very scared. They announced the teen first, so when I didn't win the teen, I was a little upset, but the girl who won, Raylan, in the giant pink dress on the right, she was amazing. I knew she was gonna win. I could tell by the way she carried herself and how much she did. She really deserved it. And after I didn't win, I had to go back on stage after for the Superstar, and I was like, "Okay, we're going out for round 2, guys. We got this." And I got 3rd again, but coming home with 2 3rd runner-up trophies to 2 of the most amazing titles in the country is pretty amazing, because next to Miss America, which is my goal one day, this is right below it. So I was very, very, very proud of myself with how I did in this performance. This was me and my girls and our director, Brandy, at our farewell in December of 2024. It was a very, very sad day, and we took a lot of photos, and we had a lot of fun. It was very hard because New York is not a pageant state at all. All the pageants happen in the South. So doing a pageant in New York is very hard, and especially to find enough people to do it. We didn't get to have a farewell, and a farewell is basically at the end of your reign, at the end of your year. You go back to the pageant where you were crowned, and you get to walk in a white gown, and you get to get flowers and say bye and crown your successor, who's the person that comes as Miss New York Teen for me after me, so who I get to crown after for their year. And we didn't have any girls that really wanted to participate, so we couldn't have a pageant. So we had a farewell in this beautiful log cabin in like Old Forge area-ish. And we had a lot of fun. It was kind of sad that we didn't get to go back, but we made the best out of it. And after POA, I of course signed up for another pageant. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I of course signed up for another one, and this one took place in Orlando, Florida. So we got to spend a week in Orlando, Florida doing everything under the sun. The first one is me in my casual wear, and I wore this cute little yellow dress that we could not get zipped, and I'm pretty sure I will never wear that dress again because it was like a one-time deal, so I wait till I put it on. I couldn't practice in it. I zipped it up, and it was perfect. And I'm like, I'm never going to touch this dress again because I'm never going to get into it again. And I did not place for my casual wear, but I had a lot of fun, and that's all that mattered to me. And I was it was a new atmosphere for me. This was my International United Miss title, and Princess of America and International United Miss are right below Miss America level. So I was just glad to be on this stage and be able to bring what I could. And the second photo is me doing my American Sign Language. Again, I wear the same outfit every single time I do it because it's my favorite outfit in the whole world. And I love pantsuits, if you could not tell. So this was me in my evening gown and my fun fashion. My evening gown was one of the best dresses I've ever worn. And I looked like a bubblegum ball, and that's what I tell everybody, is I look like a piece of bubblegum. But I did love that dress, and my second one of me in the blue was my fun fashion, and that was actually a gift that showed up at my doorstep, and I did not know who it came from. And it came from a designer that sent it to me to wear, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to wear it on the national stage, and everybody really liked it, so I think I'm going to just keep that around for a while and wear it to everything because it is one of the most amazing pieces of clothing I've ever worn. And IUM, I placed 8th. I placed in the top 10. I placed 8th. And it was very hard because you go from winning to first runner-up to third, and then you get 8th. And I just had to remember that these were the girls that I was against. So IUM was the biggest pageant I have ever done. We had over 500 contestants, and I had made some of the most amazing friends from the United Kingdom and Australia, who I still talk to today. We Snapchat each other, text each other, and IUM was different than POA because Princess of America brought together the 50 states, and International United Miss brought together everybody. So we had girls from California, Maine, Australia, United Kingdom, and it was truly amazing just to see us all come together. When they took this photo, we all just kind of looked at each other because they had to step so far back and put it all the way above their head to try to get us all in one shot. And we were still missing a few girls in this photo, I think a couple, but I can barely even see myself in this photo. But it was amazing to see how many of us there were, and especially the fact that I got to make friends from the United Kingdom and Australia and all over the world was pretty amazing. During my pageant journey, this was me as the Princess of America Miss New York Teen. After I was crowned in November of 2023, I decided to write a book, and this was my first ever shot at writing. Fun story, I wrote Milo and Luna in about 24 hours, not really, probably less than that. And I wrote it during my science class because my science teacher was very, very boring. So I was sitting at my desk writing this out, and I wrote a whole storyline, and by the time I got home, I handed it to my mom, and she's like, what is this? I was like, this is the book I wrote, and she goes, you did what? So this is the book I wrote. She goes, when did you do this? I was like, during science class, and she goes, you weren't paying attention? No, I was not. So Milo and Luna was a work in progress, but I wrote it very, very fast, and I was very grateful that, I don't know what it is, the ideas of writing come easy to me, and I can write things very, very fast. I can talk just off the cusp and do things like that, and I think I'm very grateful that I can just do things like that. I'm given projects sometimes at school where they're like, make a storyline, and I'm like, okay, done. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, I just gave you the most random story ever, but it's funny and it makes sense. I wrote a story once for my ASL class that I had to sign, and it was about a fish and a bird. And my ASL teacher's like, how'd you come up with this? Where'd it come from? I was like, my head. And he's like, how can you do this? It's like so easy. And I love writing. I don't think it's something I will like continue as a job, but it's something that I love as a hobby. And Milo and Luna being my first book was kind of amazing because I wasn't expecting it to even look the way that it came out. I did my whole storyline on Google Docs, printed it out. My aunt did the illustrations, and she lives in North Carolina, so we did a lot of FaceTime and Zoom calls. And when she sent me the hard copy illustrations, and it came in a box like Fort Knox, and it was like packing tape and bubbles and all this stuff, like keeping it together, and it was this giant box that all I had in it was like paper. And I put most of them in frames after I gave them to the company that printed it for me, and I'm like, look at them on my wall, and I'm like, these are the original copies. And I'm amazed because something that's sitting on my computer turned into that, and something that was in a notebook from my science class turned into that, and it was pretty amazing to watch Milo and Luna come together. It was very hard time to like, we went to Albany a lot, to the Troy Bookmakers, which is who published it. We went to Albany, and we showed up there, and she's like, just bring everything you have with you, and I'll just do it from there. And I was very confused when she said, hand me everything, and I'll hand it back to you in book form. And I was like, you weren't lying. I gave her my Google Drive, my just like hard copy, whatever I did. I had 8 drawn copies of Milo and Luna before I was like happy with it. And I have them all under my bed still. It's just like random pieces of paper. I just wrote the whole entire storyline on pieces of paper and flipped through it. And wrote where I wanted the photos and all of those things. And I did hand it to her, and she did in fact hand it back to me in book form. And I think this is one of my most proud accomplishments of my whole life, is writing this book. And then after we wrote it, we got the cute plushies that are sitting over there on the table. And they're adorable. They sit in my room, and I look at them all the time. And I look at this book, and I look at the plushies, and I'm just kind of still in shock that I did this, because I would have never just thought that me writing during science class would turn into this and everything that I've done since then. After Milo and Luna this past year, I took up poetry, and I wrote this book called In the Beginning She Had Everyone. I had a lot of people who influenced my life and the things that I did. My parents, a lot of my teachers, friends, my pageant friends, a bunch of just like things that have shaped my life, and that's what this book is about. It was kind of funny because I brought the book to school, and everyone was like, am I in it? Am I in it? But no one's names are in it, but they all do. And they were like, I know exactly who this is. And they were like going around school telling everybody who was in the book. And this was honestly very interesting because it had no illustrations. It wasn't like Milo and Luna. It's not a children's book. It was just all poetry. The best thing about poetry is that if you spell something wrong, or if you forget a period, nobody questions you because it's poetry. So I was like, this is perfect for me because I am very bad at punctuation and spelling. So this book was, I feel like after we did Milo and Luna, this one kind of seemed easy. My mom did take the reins on most of this whole entire thing. I just was like, here's the storyline, and she did everything else and texted back and forth with the publisher, and it showed up at my door, just like Milo and Luna, just showed up at my doorstep, and I was so excited when it showed up, and I opened it, and I was just like, I have a video of my face, I was literally just like shocked I couldn't even talk, because to have a a book, it's like a different feeling to have a book that you wrote show up at your door and knowing that this is going to be everywhere. And one of my teachers told me that, like, the things that you do are going to stay here forever, but the things that you write are going to be here forever. Even long after you're gone, the things that you write are going to be here forever for many people to buy, to see in Barnes & Nobles, in Amazon. It's never going to leave, and it's always going to be here. And I think that that stuck with me a lot, because I was like, I'm going to just have, this is going to be here forever. And it's honestly amazing just to read through it, and I can like go through it, and I know who each poem is about and what it's about, and I read through it, and I'm like, I had a lot of amazing people who have helped me get to where I am today. And I don't think I'm done writing yet. I do have 3 more books that I am working on, each at separate times. I'm like, I get in the mood to write, and then I have to like pick which one I want to go like work on. And so there will definitely be more books coming from me. Don't worry. This is me at Barn Fest, the Barn Festival, and this was 2024. This was my second Barn Fest with my little elephants in my cute book. My friend took this photo for me, and I use it for everything because I think that it's absolutely adorable. This was pictures of me baking. So I opened the Tasty Crown Bakery in 2023, and I used it to pay for my pageants, because pageants are expensive. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. And I used this to raise money for my pageants and to pursue what I wanted to do. And one of the most amazing things I got to do was Barn Fest, but also I got to partner with Remember Everyone Deployed, and which is a military organization, and I got to send 1,200 cookies to Marines overseas on the U.S. WASP in, I think, Iraq and Afghanistan. And the first photo was just me playing Jenga with the butter for the cookies I was going to make. And the second photo is all of the cookies packaged in boxes and ready to be shipped overseas. And I did not know where these were going to go. I was unsure. And then I put my photo in there from my pageants, and I saw, when I was attending an event, I saw a military member, and he told me I looked familiar, and he told me he'd received one of my cookies, and I was like, this is amazing. That was incredible that I actually knew that, because I didn't know where they were going necessarily, and I didn't know how they were going to get there, if they were going to get there, and they ended up getting there just fine. So this was one of the most challenging things I've ever done, making 1,200 cookies, and we had to like wrap them. We wrapped them in saran wrap, and then we double wrapped them, and then we put like 2 together and then wrapped it again, and just like kept going until we had them all in boxes. And we used a lot of saran wrap that day. And I was honestly very happy that they got to where they had to go, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work, but it worked out really, really well. This is me from my Young Entrepreneur Academy. After I did my baking business, I was sent by one of our family friends this form for this business called YEA, the Young Entrepreneurs Academy, and it's for kids who start businesses or want to start a business, and they basically get together and every single Wednesday, and they work on their business plan, marketing, finances, anything you could think of to start a business. They basically taught us how to start a business. I was unaware that going into this, I was the only one that actually had a business. The first 3 classes were just about finding what you wanted to make your business on. And I had a little bit of a head start because I already established my business. So I was kind of just like sitting there helping other people come up with their business ideas. And this class was from September to April. Every single Wednesday, my dad had to drive me down to Utica and back at night every Wednesday just for this. And it was very worth it because I got to hang out with 25 other people who were all business owners just like me. And we had everything from clothing to candles and baked goods and an app that somebody designed. And the best thing about this was we all were business owners. We all got to be together, but we all got to bounce ideas off each other. So if I was thinking about something and then I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, they all helped me out. And I got to combine baking and Milo and Luna both to try to promote them. So I got to go back and forth between both businesses. And this class taught me a lot of skills on how to be a business owner and like finances, because I'm horrible at math. And I realized that when I was making my cookies, when we were like selling them in the beginning, I was actually losing money because I didn't actually pay myself for baking, because I don't believe that I should pay myself, but I found out that I probably should for my time. And I was honestly kind of shocked because we did a breakdown of like how much it costs to make each cookie. And I didn't actually realize it because I bake for the fun of it. I was using it to pay for pageants and the things I wanted to do, but I honestly just did it for fun and just because I knew people liked it, and it wasn't really about the money, even though it should have been for my pageants. But I loved this class, and one of the things that I got out of this class was a full college scholarship to Mohawk Valley Community College for 2 years. And at the end of the program, we got to present our businesses like Shark Tank, and we got to ask for money for our business, how much we wanted. And they also presented us with other things. Certain people got selected for other certain opportunities. And one of the girls got on WKTV, one of the girls got to go to the national competition for their business, and I got a scholarship to college. So I was in 9th grade and already had my college set for me. Thanks, Mom and Dad. They were like, you are going to college here first. And I was like, okay, sure, sounds good to me. So this was me at my graduation for this class, and I got like a business certificate and everything. And it was very sad to not have somewhere to go every single Wednesday night and hang out with people. But I kept myself busy after that, as you can tell, and I did a lot more after that. And this was only in 2024. This was in the middle of 2024, but it seems so long ago. This is one of the most amazing accomplishments of my life, is Kata's Promise. Kata's Promise is a organization, nonprofit, that was started for the legacy of Cadence Fredrickson, who was the Miss Florida USA teen, and she tragically died in a car accident at 17 on February 17th last year. And her parents wanted to continue on her legacy, and her legacy was child abuse and helping kids in need, because she grew up being abused as a child in and out of foster care. And the thing that she was passionate about was giving comfort and care and teddy bears to children. So after she passed, her parents reached out and they wanted one person in every single state and every country to take over her legacy. And I was chosen for New York to take over her legacy and carry it on. So this is me at the Miss USA New York pageant. We picked up 3,000 teddy bears this day. And they were told to bring in teddy bears for Kata's Promise that I would then take and give to, the second photo is when I gave some to Back the Blue for their Stuff the Cruiser. We've done so many other things where we've given them out to nursing homes, foster care, everything like that. And we were pretty shocked because I arrived at this pageant and they just said, show up, you guys have to bring a few bears home, just bring your car. And I didn't seem to ask for some reason. I don't know why I didn't ask how many bears there were. Because me and my dad drove out to Albany, just the two of us, with my mom's Suburban. And we were like, we have the Suburban, it's okay. I'm almost there, about 20 minutes away, and she sends me a video of how many bears there are. And I kind of looked at my dad, and I was like, we can do it, right? And he goes, you're crazy. He's like, there's like 3,000 bears in that photo. We get there, the wall, probably the span of this room, just full to the top, 3,000 teddy bears. I did, in fact, count them all when I got home. It took me about a week to count them all. But we had to go rent a U-Haul trailer. I sat in the pageant venue while my dad drove down the street, researching how to get a trailer, where to get one from. And he came back, he's like, you're lucky I love you. And I was like, I know, thank you, Dad. And so we stuffed the U-Haul. I don't know why I thought they were all going to fit in the Suburban, because the U-Haul was full. We opened it when we got home, and they all just came out. And I have done a lot with them. I went into my elementary school because I love going up there and visiting the kids and some of my favorite teachers up there. And I got to give some to first, second, pre-K through third grade. I went and gave teddy bears to. And I kind of just get to go, tell them about it, what's it about. And Kata's Promise has been one of the most like amazing things that I've done. This was at a volleyball game too, my best friends holding the sign. I got to do a teddy bear toss where I brought the teddy bears to school, and like the Utica Comets, when they tossed the teddy bears, they did it at school for 2 volleyball games. And it was really, really cute to watch, really fun to watch. More teddy bears for me, but it's okay. And all my teddy bears kind of just like chill in our basement. Little by little, the basement's starting to have some room to walk. When we first brought them home, we just kind of like sat there and just stared at them all. And I was like, we don't have a basement anymore. Our basement is full. And little by little, every week or every day for like 2 weeks, I went down and I sorted every single bear by size into bags, labeled how many were in each one. Now they're all downstairs in their bags, labeled. So if I have to go do something with them, they're ready to go. A few things I've done with Kata's Promise is my teddy bear toss, but I also gave some to Marion Buttonshawn for her hat and mitten drive. She partners with me a lot for a lot of different things. We got to go to the Utica Fire Department and give some to them for their kids in need. They have gone to a lot of different companies. I kind of forget where they all went to, but I've given a lot to schools, and my basement now only has like 2,000 left. So we're getting there. It's working. But Kata's Promise is one of my favorite things, and I am lucky that I get to carry it on forever. And unlike a pageant title, I have it for more than just a year. I have it for the rest of my life, and I really am looking forward to the next Miss USA New York pageant where they say, come back, we have 3,000 more. And I'm going to be like, okay, I don't know what to do with them all. It's okay. And Kata's Promise was something I didn't know if I wanted to take on. It was very hard because you are carrying on the legacy of someone else. And on top of what you do as a pageant title holder, you have to also embody Cadence, who had this platform for herself. And I was like, this is going to be hard. I don't want to not do a good job. I want to make sure I'm doing enough. And I try to do as much as I can with it, and I do. I do a lot with Kata's Promise, and it's one of my most amazing things that I've done, which I say about all of my stuff. I think all of my things I say, that's the most amazing thing I've ever done. So nobody ever asked me to rank them because I could never. One of the other things that I do is it makes me laugh every time I talk about it, is the American Legion in Mohawk. So I'm a junior member. I'm the only junior member. So I get to go the second Wednesday of every month. I get to go and hang out with 25 funny ladies who sometimes forget that I'm 16, and they're all sitting there with their wine and they're chilling and they're like talking. They're like, guys, Emily's here, come on. And I'm like, it's okay, I'm used to you guys by now. And the Legion is very fun. It's just like hanging out in here, and it's a lot of fun, but there's like a smaller amount of us. I usually bring cookies, muffins. They're like, oh my gosh, you brought baked goods again. I think that's the only reason why they have me come. It's because they know I bring food. And I actually have a meeting tonight, and we meet every second Wednesday down in Mohawk, 45-minute drive. Thank you, Dad. And we meet the second Wednesday of every month from September to June, May or June. And we just talk about how to help the veterans, and that's something that I love. For a very short period of time, not really, for a few years actually, I wanted to go into the military. I wanted to go to the Navy as a pilot, and that's how I got into this all, because I said I wanted to be a pilot in the Navy, and then after my roller derby fall, I was like, I don't know if that's such a good idea, but we'll see what happens. And the Legion has been so much fun, and it's honestly surprising because people are like, you want to go hang out with just a bunch of ladies drinking wine? And I was like, I kind of do, because they're actually very funny and they're very nice. And I would rather hang out, honestly, with older ladies than I would teenagers my age, just because I feel like I am an old lady on the inside. And my favorite show is The Golden Girls. So I love hanging out with them more than like my friends my age, just because it's a fun experience. It's fun to be around. You learn a lot, and you learn a lot of intellectual things more than like going out and going to like a party or something. And I'm not a partier. I just like to go home and sit in my pajamas and watch TV and bake and cook. So the Legion is just a fun way to kind of help out in my community, do a lot of things. They've let me do a lot of parades, do a lot of different events, honestly, that I wouldn't have actually thought of. They wanted to send me to Rochester, New York for something called Girls State. And it's a week long in Rochester from like 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. every single day. And it was like a great opportunity. I really wanted to go. Also with the Legion, I got to do a bunch of speaking contests, a bunch of things to help my public speaking, parades, a lot of fun things that I would have never, again, thought about unless I was a part of it. And here they are. These are my people. They're so much fun to be around, honestly. It's a great time. So after that, when I'm not going to the Legion on Wednesdays or YEA on Wednesdays or anything else throughout the week, I am also a part of the YAP program for Broadway Utica for the Stanley Theater. And this was an interesting way it came about. I was very into theater. I really loved it. I do drama club in my school. And one of my teachers sent me this program. She goes, they're looking for ambassadors. And I was like, what does that mean? She goes, basically you get to watch all of the shows for free. And I was like, that sounds like so much fun because I really, really, really want to go. But they're so expensive. The shows at the Stanley are like crazy. But I was like, I really want to go. So I did this form. I filled it out. A lot of people that do it are from Utica, Proctor, JFK, Rome. And I have little old me from Remsen, and every time I show up, they're like, how long of a drive was it? Every single time I get there, they go, how long of a drive was it? And I feel like I'm always out of the way in Remsen. I don't know. It feels like I'm always so far from everything. And they accepted me. Actually, when I was on my way to International United Miss for the pageant, they accepted me. When I was in the car, I screamed, and my dad looked at me, and he's like, what are you doing back there? And I was like, oh my goodness, I just got accepted in the Broadway Utica program. He goes, can you not scream like that ever again when I'm driving? And I was like, sorry. But it was really exciting, and I was very nervous to go once again, be around all of these people from all over different schools. There's 35 of us, and I'm the only one from Remsen. And so all these kids are sitting together, and they're like, oh my gosh, we go to Proctor, we go to Rome. And they're like, who are you here with? And I was like, myself, I'm from Remsen. It's just me. And I've made so many friends through this program, and I've also got to watch so many shows. And my favorite show of all time is Hadestown. Love Hadestown. It's my favorite show at the Stanley. We just went a few weeks ago and watched Mark Twain Tonight. It was really good. And we get to go see Mrs. Doubtfire in about a month. And then on my birthday, we have our last show of the season, which is Kinky Boots. So I'm very, very excited. And I am also in drama club at my school. So this is how I got into theater. When I was in the 8th grade, before I started pageants, I did drama club, I did theater. I was in Cinderella, Fiddler on the Roof, Pirates of Penzance. And I had a lot of fun, drama club. Being on the stage kind of just like centers me, makes me very happy. This year I'm not performing, but I am like the stage manager, backstage help, building. Actually later, me and my dad are gonna go build. Right, Dad? Yep. We're gonna go build the set later for drama club. And this is kind of where everything got started. My love for the stage started with drama club and my school theater. And it's just so much fun being around your friends at school, and then you get to go and be friends with the people at the GAP program and everything in between. And some other school things I do is I'm in National Honor Society. I was inducted last year in March for National Honor Society. There's me in the front in my cute little skirt. I'm the only one wearing a skirt. I show up sometimes to events and I'm the only one that's like wearing something, or I'm like dressed fancy, and they're like, why are you dressed so fancy? And I was like, I dress like this every day. It's kind of interesting because I'm going to go to school after, and I'm going to wear this exact outfit to school. And I'm just like, I don't really care, it's okay. So everyone walks around school in their pajama pants and their sweatpants, and I'm showing up in heels and a pantsuit, but they all expect it by now, so it's okay. Another thing that I do with school is a very, very near and dear thing to my heart, which is called ESV, Elevating Student Voices, that happens at BOCES. And you get to go, and I am the teacher. So you go with a group of 10 kids from each school. There's 20 schools, and there's about 200 of us every other month we meet. And you talk about how to make your school a better place, how to stop bullying, how to get more people to feel welcome in your school, and how to help it be more diverse and make an impact. And all of the teachers step away, and it's students only. So I get to be the facilitator. That's why I'm on the ground in this photo. I was building a puzzle, actually. And I love this photo of me because I did not know that they were taking it, and it kind of just shows, like, how I was, like, the leader of the group, how I, like, was taking charge to put everything together. And ESV is something I look forward to for a multitude of reasons, because I get to go and hang out with a bunch of people from a bunch of different schools. The teachers kind of go sit in their own room, leave us kids to talk. And when teachers aren't around, we realize that students actually tell the truth about what's happening in school. So when the teachers go away, the children are like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. How do we fix it? And with ESV, I get to take it back to my school. So instead of just being the leader at BOCES, I get to be the leader at my school as well. And I get to put other projects into order. Right now, we're working on a presentation to give to all the faculty members on what we've been learning at ESV and how they can put it back into school. Because I feel like students don't tell teachers issues that are happening, or they do, and the teachers just like, oh, it's okay, it's fine. So being able to do that and help my school even more before I graduate, I want to make an impact in my school before I leave, and that is like what I want to do, and I refuse to graduate until I do that. So this is a great way where I can do that, and I've done a lot of things already to help the school, and it's incredible. My last thing that I'm doing currently is I did a presentation or a public speaking event for the Voice of Democracy for the auxiliary, and this was for Remsen. They gave it to us in school, and the teachers kind of just like put it out there and were like, guys, there's this thing, if you want to do it, here's the paper. So I kind of just took it and had to do everything else myself because I didn't know anything about it. And I ended up doing it. I sent in my recording. I won at the local level, which is like the Remsen VFW. And then from the local level, I went to the district level, which is District 4 for me. And I ended up winning at district. And this was my photo from when I won at district, and I got my award in Watertown a few weeks ago. And then from district, we got a call when we were in Florida when we were in Disney, and she was like, hey, is this Emily's mom? Everybody always calls her, and they're like, is this Emily's mom? And she's like, sure is. And I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, Mom, talk a little louder. And she always like has this smirk on her face when people call her. I'm kind of scared because I want to know what they're talking about. And she handed me the phone. She's like, here, talk to this person. I'm like, who is it? And she's like, you'll find out, it's okay. And they told us that for the first time ever, a Remsen kid won states for New York. And I now get to go to Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Is it Pennsylvania? Yeah, Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. And my mom always thought it was Tennessee. She's like, Valley Forge, Tennessee. I was like, no, Mom, no. Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. And I get to compete for the national competition, which means if I win, I get a $35,000 college scholarship. And I was not expecting it because I did this little local thing that they gave us at school, this like paper, and they're like, here, just do this if you want to. And I love speaking, as you can tell, I love to talk. And I won at the local Remsen VFW. I didn't hear anything for a few weeks, and I was like, okay, maybe I didn't do so well. It went on to district. Then I won state, and like for the first time ever, somebody from Remsen won state. And I was like, oh wow, I have a lot of pressure on me now. So now we get to go to Corning, New York at the end of March for a like state dinner that I get to be a part of. And then we get to go to Valley Forge, Pennsylvania for the national competition, which I'm hoping to do very well. And I have a lot of other little things in between that I've done, but these are like the things that stood out to me the most to put in here. This is my headshot for my pageants. It is unlike any other headshot you could see of a pageant girl. Because if you look when I looked in my pageant book, when we got to a few of the pageants, they like gave us all of our headshots. And I was like, mine looks more like a CEO business owner than a pageant one. And they're like, it's okay, it stands out. But I was like, this I was like, I might need to fix this for next time I do a pageant, because I learned quickly that this is not a pageant headshot. This is like a business owner headshot, which is okay for me. But I love this photo of me. It's my favorite photo. And everything that I've done has happened because of the first thing. If I didn't do the Dodgeville Festival, I wouldn't have done pageants in general. If I didn't do my pageant, I wouldn't have wrote a book, because to me, my logic was, if you're a pageant girl, you have to write a book. I realized that was very wrong. I don't know why I told myself that, but I'm lucky that I did, because I wrote a book. And if I didn't write the book, then I wouldn't have been able to do all of these events and meet all the people that I have. So everything leads to everything else. And I'm glad that I got to be here today and talk to you guys about everything that I've done. And I can't wait to do more and maybe come back and tell you about all the more things that I do.
Anybody have questions? I have a comment.
Okay.
I think you should go on the real Shark Tank. And they will all support you, and you will get college and all kinds of money for your pageants.
That's a good idea. Mom, you're in charge of that.
I will try. You know, New York State is universe.
Yes.
That going, but they will give you the money.
That's a good idea, Mom.
Emily, you never explained your ass out. Tell him. Just tell him quick.
So, My Little Luna is a story about two elephants, one of them was born deaf, and that's why I love ASL. My mom became a teacher at the school for the deaf about 4 years ago, and I kind of took a liking to ASL, and that's why I wrote My Little Luna, to bring awareness to the deaf community, and now I learn it in school. And while I'm undecided about my future, I do not want to do something with American Sign Language, so.
We look forward to your accomplishments, and we know that there's going to be many of those in the future, and we do hope you come back and tell us more. Thank you again. On February 25th, we have a current events program, and it is going to be a guest privilege. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Linda Berry. Second. Renee Jones. All in favor?